Hello YouTube, Sam here from youtube.com/onlivegamer, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at some other some other ways to increment your variables in for loops and have them run in different ways that would make it easier for you to get the task done that you're trying to do. Now before we get started, you may have heard me talk about this in one of my other tutorials, is that I was going to make a series on this program right here, which I primarily created it for my geometry class to do my homework for me, but by the time I was done creating it, I was already out of geometry, so there's really no point. But I've been continuing to add stuff to it. Um, I was going to add chemistry to it, but I actually didn't get in that class this year. I may still add it though. I've got a calculator, test solver, which really doesn't solve tests, it's just a troll face, and a bunch of other stuff. So I was going to make a series just on the code for this and kind of make it open source so you guys can see how it works and how you can implement some of the similar stuff in other programs that you create. So let's see here, let's create a triangle. When we solve it, you can see it'll draw the triangle for us. So if you guys want to see that, go ahead and leave it in the comments, PM me, whatever, and I may start making a series on how you can make this program. Now, would have to trust you guys not to just steal it and create your own and release it and say it was your own code. So now that we're through with that, let's go ahead and move on to the tutorial itself. So you can see here we have the loop from last time, which is a for loop, and it says for int s equals 0, run this as long as s is less than or equal to 20, and each time it iterates, add 1 to s by using s plus plus. And each time it's going to tell us the loop iteration. So instead of just doing s plus plus, we can do a whole bunch of other things. We can do s plus equals 2, which is shorthand for this right here. S let's see, int s equals s plus 2. That's basically what it's short for, this right here. So if we go ahead and run this, you can see that it's going to count up by 2 each time. So the first time it's going to be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Now, we can do whatever we want for this. So let's say we do 7. If we run this, you can see it only goes 0, 7, 14. Because if you add 7 to 14, it goes up to the value 21. And since this is only going to run if it's less than or equal to 20, it's not going to run our 21. Now, you can put whatever numbers you want in there. We can also decrement. So instead of s adding something to s, we can do s minus minus to subtract something. So we can start at 20 and go to as long as s is greater than or equal to 0. And you see it's going to say loop iteration 20, and it pretty much counts down all the way to 0. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And just like the adding, we can do s minus equals, let's say 4. And when we run that, you can see it's going to decrement 4 each time until it gets to 0. So go ahead and practice with those decrementing tools. And one more thing that I forgot. You can also modify your variable inside of the for loop itself. So we can say s plus equals 6. So each time it runs, it's going to add 6 to s, and that's really going to give us a crazy looking loop. So let's go ahead and run this and see what it looks like. And yeah, it definitely gave us a crazy looking loop. It gave us an infinite loop, because it's going to run as long as s is greater than or equal to 0. Since we're taking away 4 and adding 6, that's the net gain of 2, so it adds 2 each time. So it's just going to create an infinite loop of adding 2 each time. So you can manipulate your variable, your loop variable, in many different ways. Up in here, you can manipulate it down here. Go ahead and practice with that. See what else you can do with it. And then once you've gotten comfortable with that, go ahead and move on to the next tutorial.